not everything that happened to me is my fault, but it is my responsibility. There is a lot of truth that what has gone, what happened to you. There might be real strokes of bad luck. There might be malevolence in your life. Somebody hurt you and there was just genuine things that you had no control over. This isn't to point the finger of blame and say that's your fault. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility with what you do with that. And you can apply this mental model to everything you do in your life. How can I take radical responsibility for all of this? What do I do now despite this? You can see how it builds from the resistance piece. Okay, I'm in resistance because this thing really sucks. Am I going to be victim to it? Am I going to let this rob me of my sovereignty and my power to move forward because I'm going to say, oh, well, I am this way because of that, or I did this because of you? Because you can see the trap there. The mind wants to do it. The mind wants you to be a victim because to be a victim is relinquishing your responsibility and therefore it's not your fault. If I can say, well, I only did this because you did that, it's a little trap because I get to say, well, see, it wasn't my fault. And it feels good when it's not our fault. But the problem with that is it's a complete loss of personal power. It's a position of weakness. Because if I'm saying that I am only doing what I'm doing because of external world and events, then I basically can't change that too. Because I'm at the mercy of other people or the mercy of the external world. The person who takes radical responsibility, it's a position of power. They take it back. Again, you don't need to like what happened, but you're taking responsibility for it. To say, I'm not going to victimize myself anymore. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to take my power back. I'm responsible for what I do now. That's the only thing I've got is my actions. The only thing I've got is my frame of mind and my perspective on what I do next. But if I sit in that position of weakness, that seat of victimhood, I'll never make a change from there. So you have to practice this. And two very powerful words can sometimes be triggering words to practice this is my fault. My fault. Now, I just said, and this is the disclaimer again, that not everything that has happened to you is your fault. It is your responsibility, though. And practicing, because remember, these mental models aren't literal truths in every situation. They are frameworks to play with. They are ideas to throw on top of a situation to see if they can help you move forward. And this idea of using the term my fault can be a lot of pressure for some people, but it can also be very liberating because it means I'm taking all of it on myself. It's my fault. What happened? Cool. My fault. What am I going to do about it? Because I could say, well, their fault or the world's fault. But then what am I going to do with it? Am I just to sit back in the seat of doing nothing and feel good because it was them or it was the world or it was the weather or it was the fact that I got a flat tire? I'm going to say, cool, my fault. What do I do about it now? So it can be really liberating to take that because now I'm responsible for it all, the good and the bad. And that just means that it's putting me in the seat of just what do I do next again? What's important now? Right? Take your power back because you can either be owned by circumstances or you can own them. And the person that is stuck in victim consciousness is owned by their circumstances. The person that can step into radical responsibility and be the victor is owning their circumstances so they can move forward. Which is so important because life's not always going to be smooth sailing. It's going to throw you curveballs. And if you've trained yourself to fall into the trap of only being able to take action when everything's going good, it's a problem because a lot of the time it's not going to be going good. A lot of the time it's that motivation and discipline thing again. If I feel motivated and life's groovy, great, right? Motivation, doing what you want when you want to do it. What happens when life is challenging and I don't feel like doing it and I need to rely on that discipline, that ability to do what I know I need to do even when I don't want to do it? It's very closely linked to taking radical responsibility for that. No, I have to take the power back and the ownership of my emotions and my feelings and the external world to do what I know I need to do by taking responsibility for it. So don't fall into the trap of being a victim. It's a position of weakness. It's powerless. And it might feel good temporarily, but it will not feel good in the long run because it will not allow you to become the kind of person that you are trying to become. The only version of you that can become that higher self, your most evolved version of you, is the person that's able to take radical responsibility for everything and say, what do I do with that now? I can stay at the mercy of circumstances, or I can become the master over them.
Hello friends, if you enjoyed that clip, then you can watch the entire thing by heading to this link over here, or you can find us wherever you find podcasts by searching Radical Health Radio. If there's value here, please hit that like button, let us know in a comment what your biggest takeaway was, and hit subscribe, support the show as we support you. We'll see you soon.